Here are the past picks of David Burrows, the president of Barometer Capital Management. November 29th last year, he recommended McDonald's at $93.46. You are since out of it. The stock is down 8% since then. So you were stopped out, you said, back in March?
Yeah, we had the stock from the fall of last year through March. And in March, if you recall, we're an active manager. We got into that spring decline, and we got stopped out of McDonald's at about $97. And certainly, this is a market, and I just want to highlight this. This is a market over the last 2 years that's been very, very difficult. And I think it's really been a market where you've had to pick your spots and take advantage of the rallies and be prepared to step back. It's hard for every manager and investor. So for the passive investors, the yield theme has been the theme, and there have been some shorter-term rallies, but it's been very hard to take advantage of them. You've got to be prepared to step back because the pullbacks are significant.
And what about now with McDonald's? They just got rid of the head of their U.S. business. They've been stumbling a bit. Is it looking appealing here, or is there sort of a structural shift here with this company?
Well, look, their most recent revenue numbers were down across the globe for the first time, I think, in about 9 years. So, no, I don't think it's the time to step into this. Last time we were on, we talked a little bit about Yum Brands. And I think that if I were going to buy one of these global players, probably Yum Brands is the one that you would look at stepping back into because of their stronger China exposure and the stronger Chinese consumer. But I really think you have to pick your spots in this market.
AltaGas, you recommend that just around 31. It's up 12%. You're still holding this one. Dividend payer, you're happy with this return in a year?
This is one of the strongest performing groups in the market. It's probably our single biggest area of concentration, midstream energy infrastructure companies. They're benefiting from a secular growth in volume of production out of oil sands and the other oil-producing regions and gas-producing regions in North America. And I think this group can give us 5 to 12% dividend growth a year for the next 5 years without a lot of sensitivity to oil price or gas prices.
Okay, so you're steady Eddie there. You also recommended cash a year ago. What was your percentage that you were holding for clients back then? What is it now?
Well, it's really varied. Through the fall of last year, we had some cash as we went through some sloppy markets. We had a pretty significant cash weight in the spring, and we have a fairly significant cash weight currently. Again, it's very difficult in these markets, and you have to consider having cash at times, not because you're making a lot of money with it, but it provides you the opportunity to step up and make some of the good purchases when you get a sloppy market like the one that we're in right now. I don't think it's time yet really to step in, but I think that it makes some sense to have that flexibility.
15–20% or so?
Well, right now it's a little bit higher than that, probably closer to 30%. In our equity portfolios. Okay. Income portfolios, not quite so much.
All right, so cash, AltaGas, and McDonald's, which you are since out of. We're going to take a look at an email now. We've got a bit of extra time. This is on American Tower from Bill in Nepean, Ontario. I was wondering what your take is on this telecom play. We know that was it Verizon or AT&T the other day? AT&T announced a $14 billion infrastructure program, right. And these kinds of stocks actually moved higher, partly on that news, it seemed. Yeah, look,
anybody who's got kids can see how much data is being consumed through handheld devices and iPads and otherwise. And, American Tower has this portfolio of telecom towers really all over the world and is in the process of converting into a REIT. So the dividend will grow as we go along. It could probably grow at 15 to 20% a year for the next 2 to 3 years, and it's not an insignificant dividend today. So as companies, basically the business model is it's like a property, and service providers like AT&T rent space to put their equipment on to transmit and receive data, and as technology changes, they put up more gear, and they leave the old gear up because they're still supporting the old model, and the rental intensifies. So I think that this is a great area to focus in, and it's one of the few secular growth themes out there in the real economy.
Now, it sounds like you own this one.
Well, we have for a long time. Okay. We've recommended it here before.
You have, okay. Probably why we got an email on it as well. What are some other companies in that area that can benefit, that are rivals, competitors to this one?
SPAC, that trades in the NASDAQ, is another rival and probably the most significant one, and we own that one as well.
Okay, then here's an email on BCE, our parent company. This is from Lewis. What's your opinion? Is the dividend secure? Presumably, but I'll let you answer that.
Right. So if we had to pick some neighborhoods in the market, telecom, cable, healthcare, consumer staples, pharmaceuticals, these are the areas I think make sense because of the stability in their cash flows. And certainly BCE falls into that camp. It's a holding we've had for a long, long time. They've been continually able to grow their cash flow. We think that they easily cover the dividend over the next 3 years. The payout ratio will be something like 70%, 69, 70% over the next couple of years coming out of cash flow. And think that that's likely to continue. So we're comfortable with this one and the safety of the dividend.
And were you disappointed the Astral deal was shot down, or would you prefer that they don't have more media content?
Well, you know, look, they've been successful in their strategy, so it's that one's, I'm not going to question that one. I think it's unfortunate they couldn't get the deal done. You know, the dividend stream, I think, certainly is intact, and the growth in the dividend, I think, is likely to be there as well.
And are you in TELUS as well, and Rogers?
Yeah, then now let's talk about TELUS just for a second, because I think that Darren Entwistle was very foresightful 3 years ago, or 2011. He said, we will raise our dividend 10% a year for the next 3 years. And he recognized that investors are looking in this market for some form of certainty, some clarity in dividend policy. And look at what TELUS has done since then, one of the best performing stocks in the market over the last 3 years. Now, when we look at that, we think it's likely to continue. So these are the this is where the leadership is in the market. It's not in highly economically sensitive companies, and I'd argue that we paid a high multiple in the late 90s for blue sky and potential growth. Today, I think people are willing to pay a higher valuation or a higher multiple for predictability and stability, and they play into that theme.
All right, it makes some sense. Okay, David, we'll take a short break. We'll come right back, and we have a half an hour to go of questions from you for David Burrows on North American Large Cap, so stay tuned.
In the next 30 seconds, 4.65 kilograms of waste will be diverted from